Someone very miraculous. So as much as I want to introduce you to her, or introduce her to you in my words, I actually feel she's so accomplished. I need to read a little excerpt from something. So Emily has a PhD from the University of Calgary, an MFA from the University of North Carolina, Wilmington, and a BA from the University of Missouri. She's received fellowships from Comic Central, terrible. Vermont Studio Center, Writers in the Heartland, and the Virginia Center for Creative Arts. Her second book of poetry, which is the third one on the way, 13 Ways of Happily, books 1 and 2, was the winner of the 2009 New Measures Poetry Prize. She is the program director for the very brand new Masters of Fine Arts program at Oregon State University Cascades. Dr. Emily Carr, please come to the stage. Hi. Oh my God, look at this amazing lady. Okay, so come over here, have a seat. I have a nice mug of warm water for you. Please enjoy. How are you?
Rad.
Of course. Thank you for coming on my show.
Thank you.
You're completely amazing.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you.
Do you want some glitter?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so lay it on me.
Close your eyes.
No, I love you so much. I really do. Thank you for joining me on the show. We're just going to do that the whole time, like, oh, thank you for coming. You're so amazing. Thank you. No, thank you. Okay, so you have just recently moved to Bend, well, about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years. You moved to Bend to start the new MFA program. So tell us a little bit about how that all came to be.
Oh, wow.
Wow. I know. Well, okay, you want me to
I
narrow it
prepared
down?
for like lots of questions, but not that one.
Well, there's still lots more questions. Okay,
Cool.
Because you had recently graduated, you're like, okay, I'm looking for work, but what does that even look like?
Right, exactly. I mean, I'm a poet, so, you have to make yourself useful. Jobs don't really find you. You find your job. So I found my job, and I found my perfect job, and some of my coworkers are here, and some of my students. Yay, it's my perfect job. So it's totally my perfect job. So OSU-Cascades, do you know this? It's totally rad. It's like the most amazing institution. So I was on the job market for a while. It happens when you get a PhD in poetry. And when I first did my job interview with OSU-Cascades, I was like, these are real people. This is a totally awesome place. And I can build an MFA that is like no MFA ever.
And it's really not. So
No, it's not.
No, it really isn't.
Yeah,
like,
no,
so you told there's one program that used to exist that it was sort of inspired by, but...
Yeah. So, just briefly, there was a school in North Carolina in like the 70s and 80s called the Black Mountain College, which was totally rad. And it was very democratic, and it was very interdisciplinary, and it was very experimental, and people just kind of like hung out and made crazy art, and it was fabulous. And milked cows and built buildings and stuff, and we don't do that, but we do chores together, and we love them, right? Where are you? You love our chores? Yeah.
Well, and I think probably most people don't know. So it's a
okay, so it's a low-residency program, which means we only get together twice a year for 10 days, and the rest of the time we work one-on-one long distance. So when we get together for 10 days twice a year, it's like creative writing camp, and our motto is wish higher, fail faster, be wilder. And we do that quite literally, and we do a lot of really rad things about thinking about the idea of healthy artists being productive artists.
Okay, so hold on a second. Healthy artists being productive artists. I knew Casey girl. And you're not like, oh, this artist doesn't have a temperature. You're like, what does it mean to be a healthy person, and then what does it mean to be a productive person, and then you're looking specifically at the artist's life.
Yeah, well, we feel that artists should train more like athletes because the brain is a muscle. Aww. And Bend is the perfect place for that.
That's amazing.
So we get plenty of rest and sleep and exercise. We do a lot of running and jumping, and we learn how to breathe, and we learn keto.
A lot about not weighing yourself down in order to do what you love.
Exactly. And the idea that you should have an abundant life. So you should, I think the stereotype when you're an artist or when you go to grad school is that you should sacrifice everything. Real life is over while you do that, and we believe that that is horrible.
It is horrible.
It's horrible.
It is horrible.
Yeah. So we encourage all of our students to have abundant and plentiful lives, and to think about art making as part of that.
I hope you weren't talking to us, sir.
No, it's not.
No, you keep going. Okay, well, so the program itself, you have, if this is the second year, and you're like halfway through the second year, and you have 17 students, is that right? It's amazing, and they're from all over the place. And a couple of them are here tonight. And I had the privilege of meeting a few of your students a couple of months ago, and they're like very alive and very healthy and very engaging, and it's a really totally amazing program.
Yes.
And completely supported by the college.
Yes.
And how long did it take to get that program to get going?
3 months. Come on, where's the applause?
I think everybody was like, yeah, right. No, that actually
No, it's
did
really
happen.
true.
Yeah.
So I
So
got
you
the
got the
job in March, and usually you get the job and then you start in like August or September. So my plan was to go to Mallorca and just hang
That
out.
sounds nice.
I know, right? And they called me and they said, so you're going to start in April and you have to move here in May and you have to have students by September.
And then also, what did you do? You had students by September. Yeah, you had like you had 9 students, but that's so amazing. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about you. So you have written 3 books.
Yeah. I mean,
and-
I published 3 books.
And one thing I did want to say about you is that you are an eco-feminist love poet.
Yeah.
I just love you. Really do. Okay, so you're an eco-feminist love poet. So you have written 3 books. Published 3 books, but you've written probably like 100 books, but okay. So you have 3, and the 3rd one is coming out next spring, summer.
Yeah.
And a little bit of a collaboration happening there, so tell us about that.
All right, so when I moved to Bend, I thought that poetry is not the most popular art form.
Which is weird, because actually you guys are doing poetry all the time, so shove it.
I know, it's shocking. So I thought I would, and I also thought I wanted to play. Like, Bend just seems like a really fun place to play. So I went to one of Paul's beer release thingies. It was actually the day of my divorce
Beer
party.
release thingies, that's what I call it,
he was
a
having
beer
a beer
release
release
thingy.
thingy, and I was having a divorce party. So I was feeling a little in the moment. So I went up to,
Okay.
so I went to Paul and I said, hey, why aren't there words on your beer?
True that.
Just for the layman, Paul has ale apothecary, so.
So then some things happened, and it was rad, and Paul's making a beer for my 3rd book. So my 3rd book is fairy tale poems. It's called Minotaur for short. And this is my shirt that my dad got me for my book. So my dad's a family physician, and he doesn't really get me. But he was in Greece recently. And according to my mother, he went charging into the store and said, that's for Emily. Also, according to my mother, he picked out the size, so I shouldn't feel offended. I did my best to fix it. And if anyone wants to take a photo where he can't see that, I would like him to see the on my t-shirt. Okay, so it's my Minotaur beer. And
He's a doctor, and you doctored the shirt, so what's
I
not
know,
to be
right?
proud of?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah, so Paul's making a Minotaur beer from my Minotaur book, and it is it has a fuck it attitude with grace.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I want to talk just a little bit about so you're offering some vocational training to your students. You're doing a lot of community partnering. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay. So the first thing there is that actually artists are very useful.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Artists are very useful, Casey girl. Artists are very useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah, we really are.
Yeah,
So
honestly,
actually,
thank God for artists.
I know, right?
Yeah, no, for real.
Yeah, for real. So often that's not appreciated. So you have to start by understanding how you are useful, and then you can sell your usefulness. So we teach our students to do that. And just briefly, historically, as creative writers, especially as poets, the last poet who actually made money just being a poet was Alfred Lord Tennyson, and I think that was in like 1830 or something. So it was a long time ago. So you know, we are sort of taught always that we're not useful. You know, we can teach at the university or we can write, and that's all we can do. And that's totally false. We're experts at expressing ourselves and exploring emotional problems, and we're experts with language. Everybody needs that. Like, everybody needs that.
And everybody's content is in high demand right now. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. So, so we try to teach our students that you need to tap into the ways that you are useful and be creative about that, and then show other people how you are useful too. So, for example, when I first moved here, I got really excited about what Carrie was doing over at the workhouse, and I thought it was just totally rad. So I just started talking to her, kind of like I do with Paul, where I'm like, oh, you're doing cool things. Like, I'm cool, you're cool. Like, can we do?
Paul is cool.
I know, right? Yeah.
Boo.
So, okay.
I'm getting hugs later from you too, buddy.
Yeah, you will. You son of a bitch.
Jesse.
Oh, Paul.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
I was talking. Okay, so right now some of our students are working as interns with the workhouse to make their, basically their press packet. So like they're writing their mission statement and their boilerplate and doing lists of classes for them and artist biographies and all that stuff.
Which is completely amazing because now you have people who really, really want to write and maybe they haven't given themselves permission or haven't validated their own skill set, but they have the practical experience through this program, which is...
Yeah, well, and also, I don't know if y'all are aware, but publishing is really hard. And most of the time when you're a young writer, you think you're going to never publish and die. And that happens for a long time. So this way, you know, you can...
It's kind of sad.
I know, it's horrible.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be that way.
No. So this way you can, you know, practice your art and get your writing in the world while you're waiting for that magical first publication to happen.
I think it's amazing. And then too, just so that, for those of you who don't know, the 10 days that the program meets twice a year is actually out at Caldera Art Center, which is a completely amazing place.
Woo!
Sorry, some of us have, no, for real. I mean, some of us have experience with that place, and I'm actually married to Blue Lake. I don't know, some people know that.
I think there are sea monsters in Blue Lake.
There absolutely are sea monsters.
Yeah, on that
Blue
far
Lake.
end.
And then I think sometimes like, okay, I'm gonna paddleboard across this, and that sea monster will jump out and eat me, and that would be awesome. That would be an amazing
Yeah.
way to go.
We would
Yeah,
write a
that's
poem
completely-
for you.
Sturgeon.
An elegy.
Right, and then I would live forever.
Yeah.
Which is
Exactly.
hard to do, actually. Okay, so what can people do to get involved to the program? Before we go on to your other special magical thing that we're gonna do, what can people do to be involved and support your program?
Just come say hi.
Oh, just come say
Just
hi.
come say hi. I feel like
have a personal website.
yeah. Don't go there. We have.
I already did. I loved it.
I haven't worked on it much because I've been busy with MFA. We have some brochures back in the back.
And you brought books for sale.
And I brought books, yeah, for donations.
For donations.
For donations. But you know, mostly I just love chatting with people and talking about
So
like
you're
what we
hanging
do.
out with us during the little party?
Yeah. So
Okay.
come say hi for sure.
Okay.
I'll give you some glitter.
You should get it. It's really good. Okay, so we have another thing that you gave some people some tarot cards.
I did.
Okay, so tell us about what we're gonna do next.
Okay, well we're gonna play a little game.
Oh, excuse my chocolates.
Oh, and actually, it's more like show and tell.
Oh,
I love show and tell.
I also love show and tell.
I know, right?
Big shock.
So we're gonna do. Can we move?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna do show and tell, and I thought that. So I love the tarot because I wrote a tarot novel a while ago. I'm always trying to write a murder mystery, but I'm not very good with plot. And then I end up writing a book of love poems. So I thought if I used the tarot, I could sort of, keep myself focused. And also, I think a lot of times when you choose to be an artist in today's world, your life doesn't make sense. So I thought I would use.
Does anybody's life make sense?
No.
Okay.
Jesse's.
I don't know. I mean, since he met me, yeah, totes. Okay, so, yeah, okay, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so I thought we'd have a little audience participation. So I'm just gonna. Oh, so this tarot spread that I'm gonna do was inspired by a friend of mine.
Basket.
Yeah, can you? Thank you. That's amazing. Was inspired by a friend of mine who lives here in Bend. So it's called the Roundabout Spread, of course. And she was drinking a beer for lunch and looking at a roundabout.
Duh.
Yeah. So
Who isn't drinking a beer
Bend
and
diet.
looking at a roundabout
diet.
for lunch? Bend diet. And Bendejo, everyone's a trick question.
A little
Okay.
bit.
It depends on where you are, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're near a roundabout and you have a beer in your hand, then yes.
You know what I mean? Like where you are with the beer by the roundabout if you're a Bentite or a Bentite.
Yeah,
Yes.
oh, totally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, so this spread is like a prism of who you are. So it's you, and then it's like if you were white light and you go through the prism and it makes a rainbow. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Okay, so someone has the lovers.
Who has the lovers?
That's a
Good
good
card.
card.
That's a really good card.
Do you want to read for us?
I do.
Okay.
The lovers. The best way to see yourself is to look at whom you have drawn into your life, because you, like Lenin or Einstein or George W. Bush, need to think in terms of we rather than I. The influence of others is felt in all your decisions, drawing you even further into relationships.
Thank you. So I wanted to say something about this card, or I do want now, which I really wanted to start this by saying I love my weirdo friends. And
My weirdo friends too.
All right?
Yeah,
And that is one
totally.
of my most favorite things about Bend, is I have my most
Love
favorite,
it.
most weirdo friends
Totally.
who are totally up for any kind of playing. So I would probably like to say I should have answered the question you asked earlier. If you want to learn about the program, you should talk to the students.
Yeah.
They're here. They are totally rad. I love to put them on the spot all of the time. And they can articulate more what it's about than I can. So for me, this card is about playing with your friends and the importance of playing with your friends and making cool things that your friends can play with, right? I'm going to put one of you on the spot. Oh, I want to put Laura. Can I put you on the spot?
I'm filming.
Okay.
I can't.
Well,
You come on, you're on the spot.
Yeah.
It's up too late.
Yeah.
there you are. Too bad.
I'm not going to turn the film to me, though.
Also, she's so lovely.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So Laura's one of our rad students, and she's a competitive cyclocross racer. And when we talk about healthy artists, productive artists, having abundant, full lives, we go out of our way to make sure that our students can continue to do the things that they're passionate about and that they love. And in fact, if anybody wants to talk to me about this, I would be really excited. I'm really into this idea of poetry of extreme sports. So instead of like meditating and then trying to write a poem, which makes me fall asleep, we should like jump off a cliff and then write a poem. So Laura and I have been doing collaborations along those lines. If in case you haven't been going to open mic at the lot, Mosley Wada does it every Wednesday from 6 to 8 in the winter. Is that right?
Yeah, 6 to 8.
Yeah.
Or,
And
yeah.
we're Team Summer 11. And we've been treating poetry as a team sport and performing our best junior high makeup and breakup. Make out and makeup poems. I know, right? How you like it. And I think that this is also like a way of being healthy as an artist, is reminding that it is serious whimsy. It's like play with consequences. And the more we let ourselves play, the more we make great art.
Word.
Word up.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Should we do another card?
Let's do another one. Let's go deeper. Let's do the world.
Oh, guess who has the world?
Yeah. Funny. Isn't
Isn't it funny?
It's kind of like I stack the deck.
it is almost.
Almost.
Yeah, and here I am sitting in the front row. Weird.
So weird.
Little sign. You guys ready for the world?
I'm ready.
Okay, the world. Sacrifice and suspense. Suspension is strong. Consider Dali's paintings, which depict time in the form of melting clocks. Or a Hitchcock movie in which everyone is suspended, literally hanging on their seats. Eva Braun is another classic example, a helpless dream and captive of cheap novels and trashy films, who spent most of her life waiting for Hitler. That's some deep shit.
That's intense.
I know.
That's what you gave me.
I give it to your wife, actually.
Technically, yeah. That's intense.
Okay, so when I think of the world, I think of abundance. And this is something I'm really big on lately, this idea of acting out of abundance rather than scarcity. And something that's important for all of us as a species.
It's actually huge for our town.
Yeah, no, it's huge for Bend,
it's huge
right?
for
Yeah.
Bend, because Bend has a little bit of trouble with this.
Yeah, so I feel like Abundance is about, well, so I think of my student Irene, somebody else on the spot, when I think about abundance, and she talks a lot about this story that Cecil Richards giving a commencement speech at Barnard, and she's quoting her mother, Ann Richards, who I think was the governor of Texas for a while, and Ann Richards says the answer to life is yes. So when we think about abundance, we think that the answer to life is yes and how. So you have to act on it, and that involves teamwork and cooperation and compromise, a lot of energy. Hang on. So I made this little map.
You made a map?
I made a map because sometimes I lose my train of thought. It looks like this.
That is a really intense map.
So, yeah, that's right. Can I tell you a short fun story?
Yes, would you
Okay,
please?
okay. So the world is a card also of outer success, and I think about this a lot because when you're a poet, you have to sort of go on inner success for a really, really long time, and that's really important. So for me, I went to medical school and then I dropped out so I could be a poet, and this was a difficult thing for everyone, including myself, to understand. And so we're coming back to my father and my shirt. Full circle. So my father is a visionary family physician, and I respect him, and I think he's totally rad. We don't get each other at all. And when I was really young, before I dropped out of medical school to be a poet, I got this holiday in my hometown.
Oh, yeah.
I know. And it was the first time that I was ever like outwardly successful as an artist and a poet, and I was 17. And it was probably...
You had your own holiday when you were 17?
Yeah. And if anybody wants to celebrate, it's June 3rd, and we just make a lot of art collaboratively. It's really fun. Yeah, come talk to me.
I want to too. Okay, so how do we, so Miss Dr. Emily Carr, the most amazing lady ever, is going to be with us for the middle party. So we can talk more about everything then. So also, there's a lot of people with cards. Should they bring them straight to you, or?
They get to keep them. It's like a prize.
Oh, okay, but if you want to know more about your card, you need to talk to Emily.
Yeah. And then maybe I'll tell you about my basket.
Oh, if I let you have it back. Okay, so gosh, I could talk to you for hours, but I know we do actually have to let these people go. So, is there any final words you want to give us?
That's a really insane
know.
question.
Yes,
Can I
I'm
look at my map real quick?
Yeah.
Oh, can I read a poem?
That's
Yes,
perfect.
please.
Yes.
Poem?
Okay. Read a poem.
Okay, so this is the first poem I ever published for real, and I was like, I don't know, 23 maybe. I thought I was gonna die if I never published a poem. And this is, I'm mad about a one-night stand. And I'm so mad that I go to a party at this man's house and I hit him with a pecan pie.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So the only other thing that's maybe interesting about this is that at this point, I had dropped out of medical school and my parents were not very happy, and I wanted them to know I was a real person. I did things. So I told them I was publishing this poem, and then I hoped they would forget and never read it, because I didn't really want them to read it.
But I read it.
My mom pre-ordered 30 copies to give to everyone in my family.
I hope she did. If I was your mom, I would have ordered at least 30
Well, let me read it.
Okay.
Hey. So remember, I'm 24. And I hit this man with pie. The psychological implications of sex are incalculable. Not unlike pi, for example, a number is so imperfectly aware of its own existence, it extends infinitely through space and time. Take the case of negative I. The desire is also to exist despite unsolvable internal contradictions. How can one negate a number that can't possibly exist? I squared rounds up to 1, eminently more satisfying than, say, sex. Casual is just another way of saying no explanations. Let's just round G up to 10 and calculate from there. I know I've agreed, but I feel compelled to explain how we know G is exactly 9.8. That often the centripetal force equals mass times gravity, which implies life as a matter of weight. or that acceleration over distance equals work, which is more or less the physical act of copulation. I say copulation because I appreciate implicating the psychological, rounding the figure down to 2 significant digits.
So I think we've talked about this before at the Nightlight Show. We're in a real shit mess out there. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but it's a shit mess out there. And what we're going to do to get out of it is be creative, and we're going to collaborate.
Yes.
And that's what you're all about.
Well, we're gonna wish higher, fail faster, and be wilder.
Yeah, we are. And we're also going to value our artists, right, and value ourselves. And we're going to heal through creative work of any kind. And we're not going to sit around being judgmental jerks. Such a waste of time. I mean, unless we're talking about something that actually needs to be judged.
Do you have an example?
Well, I do. Let's not bring that up now. Okay, thank you so much for coming on the show. I need the show to be 17 hours so we can do this. I think I have like 90 more questions. Well, so thankfully there's a second show.
Everyone's
Okay,
coming
Dr.
there.
Emily Carr. Everybody, please welcome her.
See you later.
I do want to give you one more. Thank you so much. Gosh, guys, hard to focus after all that creativity, right? Plus chocolates and water. Okay, so we do have one more. Oh, can we have some applause for Dr.